Namaste. So today I'm going to read book 10, chapter 13 on the account of Brahmari Devi, the Maha Devi Bhagavatam. Vakratu Namakaya Surya Koti Sam. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Narayana spoke, O child Narada, hear now the wonderful antidotes of the births of the remaining other Manus. The mere remembrance of these births antidotes causes bhakti to grow as well up towards the Devi. Vaivasvata Manu had 6 sons. Karusa, Prisadra, Nabhaga, Tista, Saryati, and Trisanku. All of them were stout and strong. Once they all united, went to the excellent banks of the Yamuna and began to practice pranayama without taking any food and became engaged in worshipping the Devi. Each of them built separately an earthen image of the Devi and worshipped her with devotion and with various offerings. In the beginning, they took the dry leaves of the trees that dropped of themselves for their food. Then they drank water only, then breathed air only, then the smoke from the fire of the Homa, then they depended on the solar rays. Thus they practiced tapasya with great difficulties. The continual worship of the Devi with the greatest devotion made them conscious of their clear intellect, destructive of all sorts of vanities and delusions. And the Manu's son thought only of the hallowed feet of the Devi. Their intellects were purified and they were greatly wondered to see within their self the whole universe. Thus they practiced their tapasya full 12 years, when Bhagavati, the ruling principle of this universe, resplendent with the brilliance of the 1,000 suns, appeared before them. The princes with their intelligences thus purified saw her bow down and with their lowly hearts began to chant hymns to her with greatest devotion. O Isani, O merciful, thou art the Devi presiding over all. Thou art the best, so victory to thee. Thou art known by the Bhagavata mantra. Thou gettest please when the Bhagavata mantra is repeated. O Devi, thou art of the nature of Klim Kara, of the form of Klim. Thou gettest pleasure with the repetition of Klim mantra. O thou that gladdenest the Lord, thou bestowest joy and pleasure in the heart of the king of Kama. O Mahamaya, when thou art pleased, thou givest the unequal kingdom. O thou that increasest the enjoyments, thou art Vishnu, Surya, Hara, Indra, and the other devas. When the high soul princes praised her thus, Bhagavati became pleased and spoke to them the following sweet words. O high soul princes, you all have worshipped me and practiced indeed very hard tapasyas, and thus you have become sinless, and your intellects and hearts have become thoroughly purged and thus purified. Now ask boons that you desire. I will grant them ere long to you. The princess said, O Devi, we want unrivaled kingdoms, many sons of long longevity, continual enjoyment of pleasures, fame, energy, freedom in all actions, as well as the good and keen intelligence. These will be beneficial to us. The Devi said, Whatever you have desired, I grant them to you all. Besides, I give you another boon. Listen attentively. By my grace, you all will be the lords of the Manvantaras and acquire strength that will experience no defeat. And you will get prosperity, fame, energy, powers, and a continual line of decent and abundant full enjoyments. Narayana said, after the world mother, Brahmadi Devi granted them these boons, the princes chanted hymns to her, and then she instantly vanished. The very energetic princes acquired in that birth excellent kingdoms and abundance of wealth. They all had sons and thus established their families and became the lords of Manvantara in their next births. By the grace of the Devi, the first of the princes, Karusa, became the ninth Manu. The exceedingly powerful Daksa Savarni, the second prince, Prisadra, became the 10th Manu, named Meru Savarni. The third prince, the highly enthusiastic Nabhaga, became the 11th Manu, named Surya Savarni. The fourth prince, Dista, became the 12th Manu, named Chandra Savarni. The powerful fifth prince, Saryati, became the 13th Manu, named Rudra Savarni. And the sixth prince, Trisanku, became the 14th Manu, named Vishnu Savarni, and became the celebrated Lord of the world. Narada questioned, Wise one, who is that Brahmari Devi? What is her nature? What for she takes birth? Kindly describe all this beautiful and pain-destroying antidotes to me. I am not satisfied with the drinking of the nectar of the glories of the Devi. My desire to hear furthermore is as strong as ever. As the drink of the nectar takes away death, so the drink of this antidote of the Devi takes away the fear of death. Narayana said, O Narada, I will now narrate the wonderful glories of that unthinkable, manifested world mother, leading to mukti. Here, as a mother behaves towards her child kindly and without any hypocrisy, so the world mother in all her lives manifests her merciful, sincere dealings for the welfare of the humanity. In days gone by, in the nether regions, in the city of the Dechas, there lived a powerful Decha named Aruna. He was a ferocious Deva hater and a Paka hypocrite. With a view to conquer the Devas, he went to the banks of the Ganges in the Himalayas, practiced a very hard tapasya to Brahma, taking him to the protector of the Dechas. First, influenced by Tamoguna, he withheld in his body the 5 Vayus and partook only the dry leaves and repeated the Gayatri mantra and practiced austerities. And thus he practiced for full 10,000 years. Then for another 10,000 years the Decha lived, drinking some drops of water only. Then for another 10,000 years he remained by inhaling air only. And then for another 10,000 years he did not take anything and thus practiced. He practiced his wonderful tapasya. Thus practicing his tapasya, a sort of wonderful halo of light emitted from his body and began to burn the whole world. This thing then appeared a great wonder. All the Devas then exclaimed, Oh, what is this? Oh, what is this? And they trembled. All were very much terrified and took refuge of Brahma. Hearing all the news from the Devas, the four-faced Bhagavan rode on his vehicle, the swan, and with the Gayatri went very gladly to where the Decha was practicing his austerities, and saw that the Decha was immersed in the meditation with his eyes closed, and he looked, as it were, blazing with fire, as if a second fire himself. His belly had become dried up, body withered, and the nerves of the body too became almost visible. Only the life breath was lingering there. Brahma then spoke to him, O child, auspices to you, now ask the boon that you desire. Hearing these gladdening nectar-like words from the mouth of Brahma, Aruna, the chief of the Dechas, opened his eyes and saw Brahma in his front. Seeing Brahma before him with a rosary of beads and kamandalu in his hand, and attended by Gayatri and the four Vedas, muttering the name of the eternal Brahma, the Decha rose up and bowed down to him and sang to him various stotras. Then the intelligent Decha asked from Brahma the following boon, that I shall not die, grant this. Brahma then gently explained to him, O best of the Danavas, see that Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesvara and others are not free from this limitation of death. What to speak then? For others I cannot grant you a boon that is an impossibility. Ask what is possible and just. The intelligent persons never show an eagerness to an impossibility. Hearing the above words of Brahma, Aruna again said with devotion, O Deva, if thou art unwilling to grant me the above boon, then, O Lord, grant me such a boon as if practicable, that my death shall not be caused by any war, nor by any arms or weapons, nor by any man or any woman, by any biped or quadruped, or any combination of two, and grant me such a boon, such a large army, as I can conquer the Devas. Hearing the words of the Decha, Brahma said, let that be so, and went back instantly to his own abode. Then puffed up with that boon, the Decha Aruna called on all the other Dechas that lived in the nether regions. The Dechas that were under his shelter came and saluted him as their king, and by his command they sent messengers to the heavens to fight with the Devas. Hearing from the messenger that the Dechas were willing to fight with the Devas, Indra trembled with fear and went instantly with the Devas to the abode of Brahma, taking Brahma too along with them from there. They went to the Vishnu Loka and took Vishnu with them, and all went to the Shiva Loka. They all held a conference how to kill the Decha, the enemy of the gods. While on the other hand, Aruna, the king of the Dechas, surrounded by his army, went erilong to the heavens. O Muni, the Decha then, through the power of his tapas, assumed various forms and seized the rights and possessions of the moon, the sun, Yama, Agni, and all the others. All the Dechas then, dislodged from their stations, went to the region of Kailasa and represented to Shankara about their own troubles and dangers respectively. Then, what was to be done on this subject? On this, great discussions cropped up. When Brahma said that the death of the Decha would not ensue from any fight with any arms or weapons, from any man or woman, biped, quadruped, or from any combination of the above two, then the Devas became all anxious and could not find out any solution at that instant. When the incorporeal voice was clearly heard in the heavens, let you all worship the Queen of the universe. She will carry out your work to success. If the king of the Dechas, always engaged in muttering the Gayatri, forsakes the Gayatri anyhow, then his death will occur. Hearing this gladdening celestial voice, the Devas held the council with great caution. When it was settled what ought to be done, Indra asked Brihaspati and said, O Gurudeva, you would better go to the Decha for the carrying out of the Devas' ends, and do so that he forsakes the Devi Gayatri Parameshwari. We will all go now and meditate on her. When she will be pleased, she will help us. Thus commanding Brihaspati and thinking that the beautiful protectress of Jambunara would protect them, the Devas all started to worship her, and going there began the Devi Yajna, and with great devotion muttered the Maya Vija and practiced asceticism. On the other hand, Brihaspati went ere long in the garb of a Muni to the Decha Aruna. The king of the Dechas then asked him, O best of Munis, whence and why have you come here? Say, O Muni, where have you come? I am not one of your party, rather I am your enemy. Hearing the above words, Brihaspati said, when you are worshipping incessantly the Devi, whom we too worship, then say how you are not a one on our side. O saint, the vicious Daitya, hearing the above words and deluded by the Maya of the Devas, forsook the Gayatri Mantra out of vanity, and therefore he became weak, bereft of the holy fire. Then Brihaspati, having succeeded in his work there, went to the heavens and saw Indra and told him everything in detail. The Devas became satisfied and worshipped the highest deity, O Muni. Thus, a long interval passed, when one day the world mother, the auspicious Devi, appeared before them. She was resplendent with the brilliance of 10 million suns and looked beautiful like 10 millions of Kandarpas, gods of love. Her body was anointed with variegated colors, etc. She wore a pair of clothing, a wonderful garland suspended from her neck. Her body was decked with various ornaments, and in the fists of her hands there were wonderful rows of hornets, large black bees. Her one hand was ready to grant boons, and her other hand was ready to hold out no fear. On the neck of Bhagavati, the ocean of mercy and peaceful, were seen the variegated garlands with large black bees all round. Those male and female bees singing incessantly all round her the Hrimkara mantra, the first vibration of force. Kotis of black bees surrounded her. The all-auspicious Bhagavati, praised by all the Vedas, who is all in all, composed of all, who is all good, the mother of all, omniscient, the protectress of all, was adorned fully with dress. Seeing suddenly the Devi in their front, Brahma and the other Devas became surprised, and by they got relieved and gladly began to chant hymns and praise to Bhagavati, whose glories have been written in the Vedas. The Devas said, O Devi, obeisance to thee, thou art the highest knowledge and the creatrix, preservrix, and the destructrix of the universe. O thou the lotus-eyed, thou art the refuge of all. So we bow down to thee, O Devi, thou art collectively and individually Visva, Tejasa, Prajna, Virat, Sutratma. O Bhagavati, thou art differentiated and undifferentiated. Differentiated and undifferentiated, thou art the Kutastha Chaitanya, the unmovable, unchangeable consciousness. So we bow down to thee, O Durga, O Durge, thou art unconcerned with the creation, preservation, and destruction, yet thou punishest the wicked and art easily available by the sincere devotion of thy bhaktas. O Devi, thou scorchest and destroyest the ignorance and sin of the embodied souls, hence thou art named Bharga. So we bow down to thee, O Mother, thou art Kalika, Nila Saraswati, Ugratara, Mahogra, thou assumest many other forms, so we may always bow down to thee, O Devi. Thou art Tripura Sundari, Bhairavi, Matangi, Dhumavati, Chanamasta, Sakambari, and Rakta Dantika, obeisance to thee. O Bhagavati, it is thou that didst appear as Lakshmi out of the milk ocean. Kisira Samudra, thou hadst destroyed Vitrasura, Chandamunda, Dhumralochana, Raktabhija, Shumba Nishumba, and the exterminator of the Danavas, and thus thou didst do great favors to the Devas. So, O gracious contendants, thou art Vijaya and Gange. O Sharade, we bow down to thee. O Devi, thou art the earth, fire, prana, and other vayus and other substances. O merciful, thou art of the form of this universe, the Deva form, and the moon, sun, and other luminous forms, and of the knowledge form. O Devi, thou art Savitri, thou art Gayatri, thou art Saraswati, thou art Svadha, Swaha, and Dakshina. So we bow down to thee. Thou art in the Vedas, the Agamas. Not this, thou art what is left after the negation of all this. This all the Vedas declare of thy true nature. Thus as the absolute consciousness in all. Thus thou art the highest deity. So we worship thee as thou art surrounded by large black bees. Thou art named Brahmari. Brahmari. We always make obeisance to thee, obeisance to thee, obeisance to thy sides, obeisance to thy back, obeisance to thy front. O Mother, obeisance to thy above, obeisance to thy below, obeisance to everywhere round of thee. O thou, the dweller of Manidvipa, O Maha Devi, thou art the guide of the innumerable Brahmandas. O Will Mother, let thou be merciful to us. O Devi, thou art higher than the highest. O Will Mother, victory be to thee. All hail, O Goddess of the universe, thou art the best in the whole universe. Victory to thee, O Lady of the world, thou art the mind of all the gems of qualities. O Parameshwari, O Will Mother, let thou be pleased unto us. Narayana said, hearing those sweet, ready, and confident words of the Devas, the World Mother said, in the sweet tone of a mad cuckoo, O Devas, as far as granting boons to others is concerned, I am ever ready. I am always pleased with you. So, O Devas, say what you want. Hearing the words of the Devi, the Devas began to express the cause of their sorrows. They informed her of the wicked nature of the vicious Daitya, the neglect of the Devas, the Brahmanas, and the Vedas, and the ruins thereof, and the disposition of the Devas of their abodes, and the receiving by the Daitya of the boon from Brahma. In fact, everything what they had to say duly and vigorously. Then the Bhagavati, Brahmadi Devi, sent out all sorts of black bees, hornets, etc. from her sides, front and forepart. Innumerable lines of black bees then were generated, and they joined themselves with those that got out of the Devi's hands, and thus they covered the whole earth. Thus countless bees began to emit from all sides like locusts. The sky was overcast with the bees, and the earth was covered with darkness. The sky, mountain peaks, trees, forests, all became filled with bees, and the spectacle presented a grand dismal sight. Then the black bees began to tear asunder the breasts of the Daityas, and the bees bit those who destroy their beehives. Thus the Dechas could not use their weapons, nor could they fight, nor exchange any words. Nothing they could do. They had no help but to die. The Dechas remained in the same state where they were, and in that state they wandered and died. No one could talk with another. Thus the principal Dechas died within an instant. Thus, completing their destruction, the bees came back to the Devi. All the people then spoke to one another, "Oh, what a wonder! Oh, what a wonder! Oh, like this! Whose Maya is this? What a wonder that she will do like this!" Thus, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesa became merged in the ocean of joy and worshipped the Devi Bhagavati with various offerings and shoutings of chants, victory to the Devi. The showered flowers all around, the Munis began to recite the Vedas. The Gandharvas began to sing. The various musical instruments, mirdangas, murajas, the Indian lutes, dhakas, damarus, shankas, bells, etc., all sounded, and the three worlds were filled with their echoes. All with folded palms chanted various hymns of praise to the Devi and said, "O Mother Isani, victory to thee." The Maha Devi became glad and gave to each separate boons, and when they asked for unshakable devotion to thy lotus feet, she granted them that also and disappeared before them. Thus I have described to you the glorious character of the Brahmari Devi. If anybody hears this very wonderful anecdote, he crosses at once the ocean of the world along with the glories and greatness of the Devi. If one hears the anecdote of Manus, then all auspiciousness comes to him. He who hears or recites daily this greatness of the Devi becomes freed from all his sins, and he gets himself absorbed in the thoughts of the Devi, Sajuya. Note, the mantra is here not merely the seed, the spiritual password, but it connotes, besides the idea of the password, the Adi first vibration, and it exhibits the first spiritual form endowed with the highest feelings of faith, wisdom, bliss, and joy, displayed with the grandest colors, startling thrills, rapt enchanting signs, gestures, and postures, the shouting forth of all powers, the sources of siddhis that cannot be ordinarily conceived in the worldly concerns. Their faint echoes govern this mighty world. The mantras are seated in the six chakras of or plexus, or the six laya centers in the spinal cord. Within these chakras, the transformations of the tattvas take place. Some vanish, some appear, and so on. Remark, in this chapter we find clearly the mention of the several names of the 10 Dasa Maha Vidyas. Here ends the 13th chapter of the 10th book on the account of Brahmari Devi. In the Mahapuranam, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, with 18,000 verses by Maharishi Vedvyasa, and here ends as well the 10th book. The 10th book completed. Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadra Kali Bhadra. Oh dear.